thing. By the way, you forgot your briefcase.
Oh, so this is the thanks I get for working overtime.
Overtime!
Alright, hey, what's up guys? It's the Nightwing at Way of Life Esports coming at you guys with another League of Legends video, here to be giving you guys my LEC Spring Split Week 4 thoughts and opinions. So the LEC this week got underway. There was quite the number of surprises coming from this weekend. You know, obvious, the big one is G2 losing to Schalke, who was previously the day before, 0-7, or yeah, they literally were winless up until the point where they beat G2. You had Fnatic losing to Mad Lions. Mad Lions played really great, and there's a lot of things to unpack in this week that I'll pretty much be going over, and I'll also be going over the Forgiven situation a little bit more. So let's start. So Origin, I think, looked a lot better this week. Xerxes is not really known to play towards bot side a lot, but I saw him playing more towards bot side this weekend. They started doing that against Mad Lions, and they obviously got the win there pretty convincingly. I mean, as I said before, Mad Lions were the best team with the rookies coming in, and I think that we're still seeing that right now, and they obviously showed that in this game too. But, Origin have what is considered a light super team, and you also have just better players across the board. I mean, you can argue if their jungler is his name Shadows their jungler for Mad Lions? These new rookie names, I'm still learning them, guys. I'm just bad with names with a lot of these new players, but Mad Lions jungler, I think, is one of their really good win conditions. I think the humanoid is also needs to really step it up here, but you saw Origin take the win in a pretty decent game, I'd say. XL playing against SK Gaming. I don't know who is competing for last place. SK Gaming, Team Vitality, or Schalke. I really don't know. Because SK, I just don't understand. I think their unpopular opinion, I personally think that SK Gaming are actually worse than Vitality. At least Vitality has tried stuff. At least they're attempting to do something. It just feels like SK Gamings are really boring to watch. They're not really doing much. They just look like they don't care to really be playing. I mean, it's literally, I don't even know why Trick is even on the team. I mean, he just wanted to play competitively. No real fault there. If someone gives you a starting, jungle position on a team, you're going to take it. Most people would if you obviously thought, with your brain. But I really think that SK are literally the worst team in the league. They did get 2 wins, but that's not really showing much, though. They've literally have looked pretty bad, all things considered. And XL dispatched them pretty handily. And then you had Team Vitality versus Fnatic. Fnatic looked like they were struggling, actually, against Vitality. Well, at least in the early game, but later on through, superior team fighting and superior objective control, they managed to beat Vitality. But this is where I was saying, like, Vitality has more fight in them than Schalke and SK, but they're just not putting it together. And obviously, this week for the Saturday day that I'm going to be going over is they played a Steelback, and I'll get to that in just a moment. Rogue facing Schalke. Rogue win pretty convincingly. I mean, Schalke were pretty much in shambles, and, it was to be expected. And then you have, Misfits facing off against G2. Misfits were on a 4-game winning streak coming into this game, and, they outplayed G2. They roamed effectively. They got Caps far behind enough to the point where he was basically irrelevant, and Misfits continue their win streak. 5-game winning streak at this point. They take down G2. This is a team you might want to watch out for. They are a dark horse team. As I predicted, a lot of people would start to see them in these up-and-coming weeks if they were to take down G2. And also with XL, I think they're also still, with the way XL been playing and the way Misfits have been playing, I think that you can categorize them as 2 dark horse teams that people definitely should watch out for. You definitely probably should not sleep on Misfits. Then Misfits on Saturday start the day off again. They play Vitality, easy peasy lemon squeezy. They just completely dismantled them. After the early game was decently there for the early game, but there were some bad dives that Cableshard, and I think his name is Skeens, was actually doing. I don't know why they attempted that dive in top, which pretty much sold the game for them. Literally, I think that Cablishard is really just mentally drained about playing on Vitality. I think he just enjoys being there, nevertheless, but this day, they actually chose to play Steelback. Now, fun fact for all of you LEC watchers is that Steelback used to play for Vitality in general. He was on a roster of Cablishard, Joko, Nukeduck, Vander and Steelback. Yeah, that was a roster. You'd think that roster would be pretty good, but no, they were actually pretty atrocious. But yeah, Steelback, has obviously role swapped to support. He had a lot of success in the what's the backup league called? The Ultra Liga. He saw a lot of success there, and they replaced Jack Troll for the day, and it was a little bit better, but they still couldn't win. Misfits came out with the win, and Rogue clap SK. Like I said before, I think SK is literally the worst team. Like, they're just loading on stage and it just looks really pointless for them. It looks so hopeless. Like, there's no shot calling. They don't know where to be on the map. They're just kind of just playing solo queue. Hey, they're getting paid some money to play solo queue on stage, and I mean, it's whatever at the end of the day. I just don't think that a team like them could really be not considered the worst team despite having 2 wins on the board so far. Then G2 play against Schalke. Yeah, my boys, G2, you lost to Schalke. But hey, to be fair, I'd rather them get all their losses out right now and that they need to actually, pick up a lot of the slack that has been happening so far. Like, you can clearly see in their games where they could improve from, and this is a good thing right now to actually have these losses so you don't get really complacent. And they said they don't really get complacent, but just to make sure you don't get complacent, you want to make sure you get these losses out. I'm not really too, fazed by it. Literally, Schalke have more to prove than G2 do, actually. And, G2's literally something that, a lot of the EU teams strive to be in terms of, branding and success in EU. And it's just literally one win. The next time they play again, I'm pretty sure G2 are just going to clap them and watch Schalke win again, and I look like a damn fool. Alright, so next game is Origin versus XL. This was the biggest stomp of the week. Oh my god, Origin just completely show why a Dark Horse team can't beat a team with super players, because there was just every single thing XL lost in. Draft, which I know people are going to criticize a lot from, XL. Young Bucks' drafts have been pretty good so far. They've gotten XL pretty decent wins. XL probably have more wins in this split than they even had in those last 2 ones, which is pretty good so far. And you can tell the work Young Buck is doing on the squad, but Origin come in with a clear-cut game plan, dominate early game, and show why they are considered one of the top 3 teams in the league. I think that Destiny has looked really well for them, and a lot of them are just playing pretty well so far, to the point where a team like XL, who has marginally weaker players, really can't handle them. And the last game of the week was Mad Lions versus Fnatic. Mad Lions got off to an explosive start. You saw Shadow on his Lee Sin, and you also saw their mid laner really pop off this game. I thought there was a lot of individual mistakes from Nemesis per se. I think that Bwipo has actually played pretty well this split, despite me thinking that Bwipo was a clown. I think Bwipo has actually played pretty well this split so far. He's made a lot of outplays. He's been roaming effectively, split pushing pretty good, actually. So Mad Lions finally show why they're considered, in my opinion, a team with the best rookies so far, and they obviously show in this game that they can stand toe-to-toe with the big boys. But now you gotta look at G2 and Fnatic losing to these teams. Do you think that they can lose to these teams again? And that's the thing, is that you can get these little surprise wins in the first round robin, but doing it again is where people go like, okay, they have something here, obviously. But Fnatic really didn't look like they're on the same page. Hylissang has been taking a brunt of criticism from the Fnatic community about being into Sang rather than, God Sang. So right now, I'm looking at the LEC and I'm going, oh my god, G2, if you don't bounce the frick back, I'm going to be really angry at the moment. But, next week, there's going to be some interesting games overall. I know I haven't really did LEC or LCS predictions all that much. I really do the LCS predictions with the podcast, so if you guys want to see my LCS predictions on that, then that's what the predictions will be. But the LEC predictions will come back. It's just, trying to be a more live and content here in different areas rather than what you've been seeing to kind of, improve. So, now, the biggest takeaway from this week is Schalke. So, yes, G2 lost to Schalke, and you guys know about the Forgiven situation And, he stepped down from the team after he said, and it's literally stated, Schalke did not deny this, he wanted changes. Now, they change, they do exactly what he says, and they get a win. Now, it's just one win. It doesn't really mean much now, does it? They're still a really bad team. But the issue with the forgiven side is what I didn't get a chance to touch on in the LS video where he, talked about it on his Twitch stream, is that people are mad because people don't know Forgiven like how us OGs know Forgiven, who's been watching EU. I've been watching EU since like 2015 religiously, and obviously I had to go learn my backstory on how the scene started, and you guys know that story by me. Okay, so the reason why people are mad at him isn't really for stepping down. If you've watched Forgiven enough, he's basically an EU Dardoch, really talented, but the toxicity really does, and I mean really does hinder him. Now, you gotta factor in, he was it's hard to say successful, looked at as a pretty good ADC. I thought he was a better ADC than Reckless. I know a lot of people are not gonna agree with that, but if you watch back then and you actually knew how to play the game, he was better than Reckless. Now, just because that's my opinion, doesn't mean it's true. Or right. But I think most people would agree with me at this point, right? That Reckless is far better, but back then, I thought Forgiven was actually better. But this is the problem with that, is that you gotta look at it different ways. He has done this before, so it's kind of like, to a lot of the fans like me, it's more like, really, dude, he's just consistently known for this. Origin, Schalke, it just happened now. He has the military service. People were actually glad he came back and they wanted to see him compete. He even said in one of the interviews that the shot caller had at one point that he obviously grinded to get to Challenger. He wanted to prove why he was a top player. He wanted to play with players that were, really good, up and coming. He already played with Odo Wamne on H2K back in the day, which is actually rhymed, but whatever. It's just that people are mad at him for just how he's acting. It's not really the Schalke move that really has a lot of people actually going like, okay, that's where it's getting bad at. But he already was, flaming his teammates in his stream. He made that tweet, that meme, whatever about Schalke. Schalke don't beat anyone, or whatever that the meme said, obviously. And you gotta look at it in certain different ways. I personally think that people are mad at him for how he's acting, rather like the benching doesn't really matter, honestly. To be fair, they need to make changes anyway. He was right about that, but he has a track record of doing this, and that's where people are like, come on, dude, like, really? That's why they're mad, I think, personally, because, like, he's just, I don't understand. I just don't understand. Maybe, LS was right. We don't really know what's going on behind the scenes. It's also true, but, we've seen this before, and is there any justification at all for any team picking him up after this? Is his career over? That's just where I'm at with it right now. That's just kind of what I've been thinking about all day. It's just like, is his career over? Because who's gonna pick him up? North America? I'd be hard pressed to believe he never come over here, like literally at all. And if you think EU is toxic, wait till you get to North America, man. People literally call you the F word right in front of your face. So I think that his career right now at the moment is kind of in shambles. People were even giving him chance in the LEC. Like, the people who get chance in the LEC are like people like Perks, Yankos, G2 players, obviously. Reckless gets a lot of chance, and like the crowd, you could hear it. They were like, yeah, Forgiven's back, and we got an OG back. He's gonna tear up the scene. We had a great ADC back. 3 weeks later, all right, I'm benching I'm getting benched. Oh, good lord, it's just the same thing over again. It's like, come on, dude. Like, where do you grow up at, man? Like, things aren't always gonna go your way. And people should know, joining any LEC team, if you're not on G2 or Fnatic, you're gonna struggle. But Origin literally proved, and so does Misfits, that right now, that can also be changed in the narrative. If you can't be a first or second place team, I guess being a third place team at least gets you to Worlds, right? That's how I see it personally. But yeah, that's it on my LEC Week 4 Spring Split 2020 thoughts and opinions. Just thought I'd kind of get that out of the way, because that was one of the more bigger narratives, obviously, for this week is Forgiven, obviously getting benched, and them not seeing eye to eye, and just a bunch of other things. So, see you guys later. Like, comment, subscribe, most of all, enjoy. I'm the Nightwing, and Way of Life Esports, signing out.
Hi there, guys! Be sure to like and subscribe to the channel for more stuff.
Yeah, thank you.